Good afternoon, world. It's moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, in the heart of the Lone Star State. And today is Thursday, August 28th, and this is episode number 86 of Grit and Good News. Oh my goodness, we're broadcasting live from our palatial studios here in downtown Waxahachie in the shadows of the Ellis County Courthouse. And before I introduce our other esteemed people here, I do want to mention why I got my red, white, and blue hat on. Obviously, it's Labor Day this weekend, but a great thing happened this morning when I'm reading the newspaper, drinking coffee with the wife, and we look out, and Layla starts barking like crazy. What's going on outside our house? I see, oh, there's a pickup truck in front of our house, and I see two people jump out. One goes to our yard, one goes across the street. It's the Rotarians putting in the flags,
Yeah,
which
good.
they do, I think, 6 times a year. And depending on Memorial Day, it's a long one because
Hmm.
Flag Day comes right after. So they're like 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
In my street, I think we must be one of the leaders.
it looks
Eight,
patriotic.
18 homes. And when you
Nice.
look and we're at the bottom of the hill and you look up the hill, you see all those
That
flags.
is nice.
It
Yeah.
makes you proud to be a Waxahachie citizen, living on Ocotillo Drive and living in the USA. So, and of course, I love visors because many times people have come up to me and say, "Is is that one of those hats of the fake hair?" I go, "No,
Yeah.
no, that's not what it is."
That's the kind I need the fake hair hat.
So anyway, our man Sam is capably at the board, and I'm your co-host, Jeff Lynch, chattering away like it matters. And to my right is our man, Scott
Thank you,
Brooks.
Bud. Welcome everybody to Great and Good News on this Thursday afternoon. We are headed into a Texas cold front, as they say, where the temperatures are going to be hitting in the 80s, low 80s, I think, over the next few days, which will be nice. Give us 2 months, and I'll be sitting here complaining about how cold it is outside, and it'll still
You
only be
got your long
60 or
sleeves
70.
on already.
You know, I wear these I love hoodies. First of all, secondly, I wear them because it gets cold in our office.
Yeah.
And the minute I go to turn it up, all the ladies, which I'm surrounded by them, uh, want to jump me. So I accommodate so as to keep them happy.
Way to
Um,
acquiesce.
yeah. So thank you for being here. We are live every Tuesday and Thursday at noon to 1 Central Standard Time. All these shows go out on our Substack.com Grit and Good News brand. Under our brand there, where you'll find not only our shows, but you'll find content written by Jeff and by me there. Sammy provides a number of links uh, on Grit and Good News on Substack there as well. So we think you'll find really it to be a wonderful place to get a practical view of what's going on in the world and in our country. You get a $5 a month is the subscription, and for that you get 2 emails a week, Monday morning, Friday morning, sent out at 5 o'clock somewhere
Yeah.
in America. I think it's East Coast time, so it'll be there when you get up. And
You
we
know, this Substack, I mean, we're on it. That's great. But once you're on it and you scroll across the top and all the categories of
yeah, there's a
things,
lot. I
I
mean,
mean, if there's not a category of things that you're interested in, you're nobody, man.
yeah, there's I would recommend for people watching that haven't ever checked out Substack. Of course, go to substack.com, spelled just like it sounds, substack.com.
One word.
One word, and you will find search Great and Good News. You'll find us there. But as Jeff said, there you can go find any subject matter you want, and it's a place where Substack is better known or mostly known for professional authors, writers, columnists, things of that nature. So it's not the free for all that you will see that you do see on X or on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's a place where people who have studied what they're writing about, like
Way
we
more
do.
writing,
Yeah,
way more writing than pictures and memes.
yeah. And it's
There's some
not
of that though.
there. Yeah, there's not. It's not a snake fit. A few things we want to update you guys on. I failed to mention on Tuesday that this past week on the 23rd, which would have been Saturday, I believe, marks the 6th anniversary of the tragic murder suicide of little Ollie Wiedemann, who lived here in Waxahachie. For those of you not in Waxahachie or in Texas or in the state, yeah, or in the well, you're in the country, but Waxahachie's at 30 minutes from Dallas, straight due south. But we had a little boy named Ollie Wiedemann who was kidnapped by his mother on a Friday morning or Thursday morning, I think it was, back in 2019. Amber Alerts went out. I remember getting them as a member of the media and all that. Everybody gets them now, but uh, for what was a painstaking 24 hours, people everywhere were searching for Ollie, precious little boy. His mother had kidnapped him. Ultimately, his mother he was in a van. She had driven around and ended up at in downtown Waxahachie at the top level of the parking garage for our courthouse, our current new courthouse. We have a great, beautiful, as Jeff mentioned in the opening, courthouse that's
Yeah.
historic. But anyway, Ollie and his mother were found deceased in that van. His mother had poisoned him with uh, a combination
Yeah.
of things, and that she also then took herself, and it killed both of them. So
Maybe 6 blocks from here,
yeah,
and
if
this
that,
we weren't in Waxahachie, we were in Dallas, and boy, it was
it's a big
news
deal.
way beyond Waxahachie. I'll
One of
tell
the
you
more
that.
tragic stories I've ever been a part of, and since then I've gotten to know Ollie's dad, John Wiedemann, a wonderful man, strong as can be. He's writing a book now, so we'll be happy to tell you about that book when it comes out. He's worked a lot on making sure it doesn't happen to others. It happened because in that this was I'm sorry, August the 23rd, 2019 is when the murder happened. In July, just a month earlier, a judge in Waxahachie, district judge, changed the restrictions and the supervision structure such that his mother could do what she did, and that is have access to Ollie. And it led to Ollie's murder. So there's a lot there, and it's a tragic story. I've written a lot about it and have covered it, and we will continue to make sure that Ollie's memory is never forgotten. Along with that, not to be the bearer of any more bad news, but my buddy Scott Dorset, who is or was a golly decades long incredible photographer for our company and
Your best
just the
friend,
world. One of my best friends, one of the world's best photographers, just an incredible talent. But more than that, he was a wonderful human being and a dear man. He was tragically hit by a truck while jogging one night in 2000, actually the day after, different years, but the day after Ollie perished or was murdered in 2016. Scott was hit. That tragedy led to his death 4 years later on May the 29th, 2020. So every year, both upon the anniversaries of their death and accident for Scott, and then on their birthdays, we like to honor them. So I wanted to mention both of those people. I love them both, and I miss Scott tremendously, and thankfully I have a great relationship with his family.
and we would be remiss to mention if you call up the Waxahachie Sun for any reason,
Yeah,
the person answering the phone is his daughter Kennedy,
yeah,
who happens to date somebody in this room, and I know it's not the two
yeah.
of us. So,
It's
uh,
Sammy. Yeah.
and her mother, Jana, had that job before her.
Yeah, so it's a family affair, and
Yeah,
yeah, Sammy and Kennedy are, I don't know, what do you call it?
two
Two
peas in a pod.
pod. That's it. Yeah, and couldn't be happier about that. So there you have it. I also want to mention to Terry. I don't know if Terry's watching today, but Terry is a long time frequent viewer of Written Good News, a good buddy of ours. Terry uh,
He
is in a
usually has comments up here. We have
yeah.
no comments, so I
Yeah,
think
so
it's
who
not working.
knows if he
Yeah.
or either that or he may not be with us today. But Terry's birthday was just the other day, so I want to wish Terry a happy. It's either I believe my wife, if she's watching, will tell me, but it's either 56 or 58 years old. His wife may be watching as well. So happy birthday, Terry! And then tonight is the opening. Well, last Saturday was the soft opening. Let's call tonight the real opening of the NCAA football, college football season. And we've got really only, I think there's only one game.
No, I think there's two.
Oh,
I know
okay.
Boise State plays
You
somebody,
need to look that
and
up
then
for
there's
me.
another game
Yeah,
tonight.
so Boise State opens up tonight, and it's Boise State. I will tell you this right now. I will never watch a field that's not on green something. I cannot deal with it.
And they got
They got the
the blue.
blue,
Yeah,
the Chanticleers, Coastal
Yeah.
Carolina. Their colors are teal. They're in South Carolina around the ocean, so
love teal.
their
Whoa.
color. Yeah, the colors of the team are great, but they painted, but they use the same color as their turf, so it's a teal. Can't deal with that. And then there's one school, Eastern or Central Washington, somewhere up in Washington, that has a red field, and that I can kind of deal with, but I'm not watching. It's got to be on green, something green. Call
And
me
what's
old fashioned.
crazy is Boise State, that same blue is on their jerseys
It
too.
is, and so yeah, you if their pants are blue, and you see them running down the field, all you see is the head moving,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
head
And I
the
totally
hat.
agree with you. Here's something weird. Pool tables, billiard
Yeah.
tables were always green, and now you see them in a lot of colors, and I
Yes.
like them in all the different
Yeah, it
colors.
may be
It's
good
a
for.
different thing.
I could see that decor wise, but
Yeah.
for a football field, ain't
Yeah.
working for me. But that opens tonight. Then tomorrow night is a slew of games, not the least of which is for our Baylor pals that are watching. Baylor plays Auburn
Tomorrow night
tomorrow night. Yeah, but there are a whole bunch of games tomorrow night. And then Saturday, let me tell you something,
is the
unless
day.
blood, flood, and fire, and there's got to be a lot of all three. All right. For you to get me out of I don't have a recliner, although I want one. Uh, Sonia's, if
Get
you're listening,
yourself
I
one.
want one. Uh, I will be on my backside, but watching at 11 o'clock. Who we got? Texas, Ohio State. Down go the Longhorns. Uh, no sooner than that game's over, I got to run an errand in between. I'll be back because Sammy and Kennedy are coming over, and we'll all be watching Bama play Florida State at Florida State, and all these Florida State morons uh, chirping are going to be eating some serious crow, and I hope we not just make them eat it, we stuff it down
Ty
their throat.
Simpson, I'm telling you, he is gonna
Ty
tear him
Simpson,
up.
the 5-star quarterback for Bama, that's set behind Tua and Jalen Milroe, and now has his chance before Keelan Russell of Duncanville gets a hold of it.
Hmm.
And you
This
know
is
I'm
it.
not a student of the college game, but I got one thing to say about
Yeah,
what you just said.
yeah.
You got the talking part done.
Oh, believe me, I can talk it now. Well, actually, I could talk a whole lot more than I do. I'm talking a lot on this show because we're playing Florida State. So we'll see what happens there. And then no sooner than that game's over, and these are just three of the games of the 20 that are on, but uh, that game's over. Take a little breath, can give my wife a hug, make sure everybody's still okay. Then we sit down and we watch LSU Clemson at Clemson. Clemson has what is said to be the leading candidate for Heisman Trophy, which is
Abe
Cabe
Klubnik.
Klubnik, and really good quarterback. So we'll see. LSU needs to go down there.
Miami plays a good game
Miami
too.
plays
It's a good
Notre
matchup.
Dame.
I think it's yeah. I think
Yeah,
it is
Notre
Notre Dame.
Dame.
And you may have a
That's on
chance to see
Sunday.
Oh, it
something
is. Oh.
earlier because my Aunt Elizabeth told me she was traveling from Atlas, New York, down to Atlanta to
Yeah.
see Syracuse play
Hmm.
Tennessee at the neutral site. And I thought she said
It's a morning game.
11 their
It
time.
is.
It should be 10. You may.
No, it's noon their time, 11 hours.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that is another game that's at the noon hour. And that'll be a good game. I actually believe Syracuse has a chance,
We
but
hope.
who knows? It's first
Can't
game of the year.
can't forget SMU plays East Texas A&M.
Oh
That'll be
yeah,
a
that
bloodbath.
powerhouse. Yeah, y'all are really starting out with a tough game there, Sammy. All right, so there you have it. That's our update. I think we got it.
And
Yes.
Sam's got the numbers.
Oh yeah, number 86. Wait. I like to pick one. I'll give you one.
All right, give me one.
Heinz Ward.
He's the first one. I don't do all of them, but I do most of it's or they're both of them is NFL and NHL. But yeah, we got Heinz Ward, and he was a running no.
Wide receiver for the Steelers.
I'm thinking of somebody else. And then Antonio Gates, Zach Ertz, and then do you know Buck Buchanan?
Buchanan.
Buchanan?
Sammy's not the great orator. Uh,
Just wait for these names.
names.
That's mostly it for
Well,
NFL.
but Buchanan for what? Football?
Yeah, yeah. And
Did it
then
say who? What team?
no,
But
I'm thinking
that would
Bear.
have been back
I'm
when.
thinking Bears
yeah,
on
no, it
D.
was back in
Yeah.
1970, something like that.
Okay.
Because he wore 86. I think he was a defensive tackle.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we're going to NHL. These two names just give me a break. Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah.
Nikita,
Very good,
the
Sammy. He came through on that one
yeah,
almost.
and
And
then you
then,
got
oh
Jack Hughes.
gosh, Tivo Teravinen. Tiro Teravinen.
There you go, Sam.
Do you know him?
Before long, we'll have
Now,
it down.
let's talk about Nikita Kucherov.
Okay.
Plays with Tampa Bay. He was once the Hart Trophy, which is what?
MVP.
MVP. He won the Art Ross, which is what?
Don't know.
Total points goals and assists total,
Nice.
which was also won by Jamie Benn. Pull that up. We just him by Jamie Benn in 2015, the only star to ever win that, and he only had 87 points, which was very low to win that. He
Yeah.
had 35 goals and 52 assists. I was at the game. We knew at that point that the Stars game was the last game on the docket. Okay, and he needed. He was 3 points behind the guy he was chasing,
Yeah. Cool.
and he gets 2 assists to tie it up. And in the third period, on the opposite end from where we're sitting, he fires a slap shot from the dots
Makes it
to win it.
cool.
And so I've got that little Art Ross trophy proudly in my
Cool.
house
Very cool.
replica.
Any more numbers, Sam? All right, let's talk about Cracker Barrel. So I'll set it up and Jeff can take it
All
from
right.
here. But Cracker Barrel, as you all know, is in the news for pulling a Budweiser Bud Light, uh, monumental, dopey, stupid, ignorant, moronic move by taking their wokeness that was hidden behind the boardroom or inside the boardroom. They opened up the doors and said, "We are basically woke, and here's what woke looks like at Cracker Barrel." So they changed their logo. They are changing the decor of their stores. They're changing even the language on that little, what do you call it, peg game
Mm-hmm.
that everybody plays. I always have to wash my hands after I do that. But and so that was what they did. And the world, let's say the America has come after them as though America is a posse of gang members ready to take somebody's head off.
And all because people stirred that up for all the wrong reasons. And I'll tell you what, that ad group, they played this 100% wrong. Instead of saying we're do, what they should have said is the reason that we've changed is a couple of reasons. Number one, that logo. If you've been to Cracker Barrel and you love it, you're gonna go and you're gonna love it. When you're going down the freeway, when you see a Cracker Barrel on that sign, that'll have the 8 places you can go to in
Mhm.
that tiny little sign. The only people who even know what that are people that already go to
Yeah,
Cracker Barrel.
yeah,
And so this new one is highly recognizable. And what they should have said was, we've made the change to make it more recognizable. True. We've made the change because did you ever really know that that little guy next to the barrel was named Uncle Herschel?
I didn't.
I didn't. I mean, I've been going there all my life. Didn't know it was Uncle Herschel.
Yeah,
We did it because our base of people who come to Cracker Barrel is a cornucopia of everybody in America. And we don't want to be defined by a little old man sitting next to the barrel because we appeal to everybody.
yeah.
Hello, hello, boom. You sell it and it's sold that way. It's totally sold that way. But I'll tell you another thing. We've had this discussion before. All PR is good PR. And the day that broke, and then they said, Cracker Barrel stock was down 7% for the day. Stocks are down 7, up 10, down 12 all the time. But I'm going to tell you one thing. It started out the year at 55.94. Okay. It's it got up into the low 60s. It's now at 61. It's now 10% over the beginning price of the year. So I guess that 7% drop seemed to work out because now all publicity is good publicity. Now they're a hero because they listen to everybody and everything's well. And Uncle Herschel in there. And
Well,
if I had a Cracker Barrel closer, I'd be there all the time.
yeah. I mean, there are parts of what you said I agree with, and parts I don't. The parts I agree with are that I don't go to a restaurant because of its logo.
Right.
Uh, However, I do buy stuff because of the logo that indicates for me what I believe to be high quality. So if I, by example, uh, Nike,
Did that logo make you say quality?
no, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
So you got the Nike, my new favorite logo now is, or brand now is, as you know, Sunday Red, which is the Tiger Woods
Right.
new brand of clothing. The clothing is made by TaylorMade, which is a company that is big in golf and makes a lot of all the Tiger's stuff. Uh, and I love it. Fits right, feels right, get what you pay for kind of theory, and I love it. So there are certain things that I'm not really caught up in the status of it, but would I am I willing to pay a little more for a Tiger Woods Sunday Red logo on a shirt? Because the shirt is, again, if it were a piece of crap shirt, I wouldn't buy it.
Right.
But do I like the fact that quality and the class of who made it coming together? I love that. I mean, I have always been interested in this case in fashion, because I think if you feel like you look good, you're going to actually be good. When it comes to the other industries, logos don't don't really matter much. I mean, I
So
don't.
so again, it's much ado about nothing when you really come
Well,
down to it.
it may be that it's it, it's not much ado about nothing for me, insofar as that it is changing the logo. It's not going to change me from whether I eating there or not. But if I believe that this is a company that is drunk on its own stupidity when it comes to DEI and woke, I'm done.
I think they
I
just
am
didn't
done.
know
Well,
how to approach it.
they had a new CEO. She's still there. That came over from um, it wasn't AT&T, but another big brand. And she has made comments and said that there's certain things that she's for,
Yeah,
and it's a woke kind of thing. So they make these changes, and
you ready with
and
question,
actually the new logo, although they've gone back to Uncle Herschel
Herschel?
logo now, the new logo I had no problem with. I like clean,
Yeah,
bold. However, uh, you to me, somebody like her, uh, messing with a brand that had done well for a very long time, that appeals, all of it. I'm not talking about just the logo, but all of it appeals to people. And there weren't people protesting that Cracker Barrel needs to change its store or whatever. They might have had focus groups that they chose to say you should update your store. If they want to update it, cool. But I will tell you, because I like that store, and when we mill around,
hmm,
I inevitably buy things.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like it. But if they suddenly, that looks like a totally different kind of more of a retail store, like that will cause me to
Right.
say I'm done.
But one stat we have never heard. We've never heard anything about actual drop in visits
Well, I think
because
it's too soon yet.
well, and then the other thing is changing logos is so common, it's ridiculous. Pepsi, one of the you got it pulled up, Sam. One of the great brands of all times. Look at this list. Look at these pictures of all the times they've changed their logo. They've changed their logo 21 times since the 1930s.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
Coke's changed it 11 times.
Yeah.
Apple hadn't been around forever. I looked at their progression. They had one black and white thing. I don't even remember what it said, but you could barely even read the word apple in it. And then they went to the apple with the bite out of it.
Yeah.
They changed the color scheme on it 5 times, 4 or 5 times. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think that it,
let,
that
let,
I
let's find something really to
I
complain about.
think that is those companies changed their logo just as a matter of fact. They changed them. They didn't have a a more what call it what's the word?
Altruistic.
Yeah, altruistic or woke or idealistic utopia uh package to go with it, to say we are all about DEI and we are all about this and all. They just changed their logo.
They didn't really say, they didn't tell any reason
No,
why they did
yeah,
it.
they
And
just did
again,
it.
if they had sold that thing right, nothing would have
No,
happened.
I don't. I agree with you. I don't think they might have gotten some pushback, but if they'd have just said we're updating our logo and Herschel Walker, Uncle Herschel went away, okay, big
Yeah.
deal. Just if you're making the same food and your stores are clean, your restaurants are clean, I'll be there.
I always love the fact if it's 100 degrees outside, they still got the fireplace on in the
Yeah,
inside. I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
makes it homey.
and I mean, again, if they'd have not gotten any of this pushback, even Trump came back and said, good job on going back to the old logo, make Cracker Barrel great again. I just think it was here's the last thing I'll say on it. I think it was a Gen Zer, maybe she's an X, Gen Z or X CEO saying, This is the world in which I was raised. I want all these things to be done, and I want to make my mark without understanding what that mark actually meant.
Right.
There was no intuition. And so the
She she
intuition would
she
have been,
hired
well,
design people, not marketing thinkers.
she hired people like her
Right.
without somebody like us saying, don't do that. Uh, anyway, so there you have it, Cracker Barrel. I still will go. It's right there up on 35 on the, what would that be? The
West side
west
of the road.
side. And I love it. I love it. I always get the same dang thing. You know what that is? Chicken fried steak with French fries, and I use ketchup and that gravy, all that big gravy. And I, for some reason, from when I was a little boy until now, I have to dip my chicken fried steak with my sauce, gravy on it into ketchup. I know it sounds
And
kind of
you must
gross.
never eat breakfast.
Well, sometimes I'll eat breakfast when I'm not a morning person, but I'll eat breakfast for lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So or dinner.
Yeah.
Sonia's done that. So there you have it. That's the latest on Cracker Barrel. All right. Sammy, did you do your, it's not time for it, but did you see that you were on for random thoughts today? Okay. Well, we're not there yet. Anyway, think of your fifth one. Um, something like Steph Curry is a geek. All right. Talk
No
block
staff,
two.
no cats.
Block two. Yeah. Trump. Trump is the man. The man's on a mission, and I know there are people watching that get tired of us talking or me talking about Trump, but Trump's a once in a lifetime figure, and he's on a mission. I mean, a all out, unabated, unadulterated, say what you want about him, he doesn't care mission. And part of that mission is to fix the crime problem in America. We've had problems with crime going back decades. What we haven't seen until recent years has been this incredible wave of one extreme violence that comes that is compelled by things that we would have never thought would produce violence in the past.
Right.
I mean, you wear a hat. You know, there have been people who've worn hats that are provocative, clothing that's provocative
Yeah, I hope I don't get
throughout
beat
the
up by
year.
a Yankees fan for wearing this Texas Rangers hat here in Waxahachie, for
Yeah,
God's
I
sake.
mean, so, but in recent years, as you all know, we've had this element that says you're wearing a "Make America Great" hat again. You deserve to be pummeled or killed or whatever. So Trump has said we're gonna stop this, and he started with Washington D.C., where I think he's right about that. That's the gateway into America and our nation's capital. So he has said we're going to correct it, and so he puts in the National Guard and federalizes the law enforcement along with working along with the Metropolitan Police Department, which is what the D.C. Police Department is called, and they just like with tariffs Trump is proving that those decisions and behaviors, the monitoring, the enforcement, the patrolling is working. And I don't know if there's been a murder today, but I do know that there hasn't. Yesterday, the day before, they've gone 12 straight days in the nation's capital without a murder, which
Which
is
they never do.
long time. So now Trump has said, well, that you can predict future success by past success, and so he said we're having success in
Except in the stock market.
well, that's true, but well, the success in DC can be parlayed for success in Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, wherever else, Baltimore. I mean, they're hotbeds of violence in this country, and he's starting with Chicago. So there's this tit for tat between Trump and the mayor of Chicago, who I think his IQ is minus something, and then you got the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, who he's a mini me, although there's nothing mini M-I-N-I about him. He's a bit like Gavin Newsom. He's jockeying and playing this game so as to be seen as a front
Poli-
runner against Trump. Or not against Trump, but to take over after Trump's done. And so you have all this tough language going back and forth.
right. And you've got some tough language that you want to quote here. But my question is, did he not pay any attention to what the mayor of DC said when
Yeah,
she came on yesterday or the day before?
it was yesterday.
She didn't say I was against it at first, but we know she was. And then she said, we are now thankful. I'm paraphrasing. We are now thankful that Trump sent these troops in because we see improvement like we never ever could have expected. And thank you for bringing them in.
Yeah,
Hello?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The question for this block in our show is, why would anybody resist that? Why would, if you have a problem, let's just say Waxahachie. Waxahachie has its own issues. Putting aside my thoughts about some council members, I think that if you look at Waxahachie, both literal and figurative, the literal part of it is that we have issues with our infrastructure. So it's going to hundreds of millions of dollars of improvements need to be made in Waxahachie's infrastructure over time,
Hmm.
and that can't be pushed back anymore. It has to be addressed. And so if Trump came in and said, "Look, we want to give you we want to give you a bunch of money, millions of money, and help fix your infrastructure," uh, and let's assume that we were a liberal city, why would we push back on that? Why, unless Trump was saying, "Okay, well, I'm going to do this for you, but here's what you're going to have to give me, and that is control of your city." We might say, "Wait a minute, that's a bridge too far." He's not saying that to Washington D.C. He's not saying that to Muriel Bowser, the mayor there. He's not saying that to Chicago. He's saying we got to clean up these cities because our people deserve to have uh, freedom to go out and not have a threat of violence. So um, I don't understand why there is such a pushback on Trump's help. You may hate Trump. I get it, and I don't hate anybody. I dislike some people very, 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 very much. But if they want to sit down and help me, and I believe that, and we can work together, then let's do it. Um, 81% of Americans in a poll, a new AP NORC poll. I'm not sure what NORC. I should look that up. Sorry about that. But I don't know if it's on here. Uh, but this is a story that says a new AP poll released Wednesday shows that the vast majority of Americans see crime as a huge issue in the United States and approve of President Donald Trump's handling of it. The poll showed that 81% of Americans agree that crime is a quote major issue, close quote, including 90% of Republicans and 68% of Democrats, and 72% of independents say the same.
What issue do we have in our country that 81% agree on?
Yeah, or that with a Republican governor, president like Trump, what we don't often
Bipartisan
see.
support, yeah.
Yeah, we don't see 68% of Democrats in favor of anything that Trump is doing, or 72% of independents. Further, 53% of Americans approve of the methods by which Trump is combating crime. So Trump is just saying we're going to use our force. The National Guard, they go. I love everyone in the military, and I'm certainly grateful for everything you do. I don't know what the system is like for a National Guardsman or Guardswoman, but I know they go once a month, something to that effect. Once every so often,
Yeah.
they go somewhere for a weekend. In the meantime, I don't know what they're doing, so I'm not sure they
They,
have their
they,
jobs.
yeah, they got regular jobs in the world.
But I think those jobs are more about in a time of peace, more about maintenance of systems and communications and things of that nature, meaning that if there is an urgent need, just like with FEMA, the National Guard is there for Katrina was a good example, but other times we've needed a National Guard, meaning that they can be pulled from what they're doing and go address something
Right.
somewhere. So why not help?
But I thought the way they mostly work is you've got your guard deployment time, and the rest of the time you're a fireman or you're a
Mm,
publisher or you're a salesman.
yeah, I think that's true too. But there have to be National Guards folks that are flexible enough to be able to
Right. You got to
be
have
plucked out and go.
a job.
You go to Washington. If you're in the National Guard and the president says we're going to move the National Guard over to monitor Washington D.C., then it's unless there are 2 or 3 hour shifts, it's a sounds like a commitment that would take you away from a day job. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I heard that when he was talking about Chicago, it was going to be the Illinois National Guard.
Okay.
They're not going to bring you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever National Guard it is, it's a commitment of resources that
Yeah.
that are that the setup is that those people can be moved to address specific issues whenever necessary. So Chicago is a hellhole. I mean, these Pritzker and this clown, I forget his name. Michael is his first name, I believe. Trying to defend Chicago. JB Pritzker the other morning at 6 o'clock, he's huffing and puffing because he's out walking by some little pond out where people are, running and all that. And he's saying, looking around with his little camera and saying, I don't see there any problem here. Well, no, there's not any problem. The governor is out walking around. It's early in the morning. It's not when most violence occurs, and you want to use that. It's like me saying, showing you a my muscles that aren't here because I've somehow inflated my shirt. It's a joke. So these two guys though are resisting Trump. And you said the tough language. Um, JB Prisker has said he said if Trump brings in the National Guard,
We will resist.
that he will find resistance. Now, what is that? Just for me, help me, and any of those watching can tell me too. Sammy, I don't know if our comments are working, but okay. So what does that resistance look like?
Does that mean that the Chicago police fighting against the National Guard?
Yeah, so
Wow.
so it's Barney Fife of the Chicago Police, who's been taught that we stand down, not up, going to say to a National Guardsman, stop where you are, turn around and leave. I mean, what's JB Pritzker talking about? He's talking out of his you know what, and it makes no sense. So I would imagine when I see interviews with people who either live in DC, residents, or live in Chicago or other places, they're like, bring it. We want to go to dinner. We want to go walk. We want to imagine not being able to walk around in your town at night. Well, just in Frisco last week, we talked about this the other
Right.
day. A kid was walking around in a neighborhood at 9 o'clock at night, and some moron, some dude, schizophrenic, I'm sure as he was, runs up and stabs the young man who was walking his dog in the forearm. And I mean, it could have killed him. Uh, Maybe not in the forearm, but if he stabbed him in the heart or something, it could have killed him. Since when is that a part of America? And so Trump is in big cities. This poll really focuses on big cities. So when are Pritzker and the mayor of Chicago ever going to get it right if they don't use the help that's provided to them? It just drives me crazy.
All the rage in the business community for the last 20 some years has been about Six Sigma, which is the quality process started by General Electric. And the basic premise of it is you only correct problems by drilling down to the root cause and fix the root cause. Because if you don't fix the root cause, the problem will continue to exist. And we talked about this some the other day, and I gave you some stats. But our root cause is we had this conversation. Who's committing crimes? My generation,
Yeah.
the generation below me. It's the 18 to 24%
You mean
group
age?
age.
Yeah.
And 80% of all murders come from that group. And 40% of all property crimes come from that group.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why it's being addressed. And
I said that in reverse. 40% of all murders,
okay,
80% of
of
all
property.
property crime, because it's easier to commit a property crime than a murder.
Yeah. So
But
I
but
mean,
we got it. We got a problem. Did I say youth or did I say male youth? That's our issue is male youth.
well, I think the point is for this is that Trump is trying to do something about it, which is the job of a president, should be the job of a governor, should be the job of a mayor. And and if a mayor and a governor are pushing back on a president who wants to help them clean up their cities, which will only help them, their economies will get better, everything will get better, corruption will get better, all of it will get better, and they're resisting it, then they got to go. And I
And,
hope those people in the country will not forget it when it's time to vote.
and one final stat.
Yeah.
Proving that our worst problems in the whole country are in the city. Wrap your head around this. The top 20 crime cities in the United States, 13 of them happened in red states. What's that tell you? That tells you that all the rest of the state was in good shape,
Mm-hmm.
but the cities let them down.
They're red cities or blue? The cities with the say that again. What you said. This what
Red is
conservative?
the conservative.
Yeah. Say it.
Of the top 20 cities
Yes.
in crime,
Okay.
13 of them, 13 of the 20 were in red states. You would not
Oh,
automatically think they're in blue states.
yeah.
So they're in red states. They're in good, conservative, safe country,
Yeah.
but the cities have let the state down.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, if a lot of the cities we're talking about here that are big and are major crime issues are blue cities. And
Blue cities and red states.
yeah, in some cases, Austin is a blue city in a red state. I don't know its crime issues, but I'm sure they're significant
And it's
issues.
just like those electoral maps that we had earlier, where we showed the whole country,
Hmm.
and you'd see all these you'd see all these blue dots across,
Yeah,
and you go, is that blue dot in the middle of Nebraska? No, it's the blue dots are in major American cities in blue states and red
yeah,
states.
yeah. Unfortunately, that is true. So I hope Trump continues to do what he did or is doing. Sammy, what do you got for random thoughts for today?
Random thoughts. Let me get this headline off. If your dreams don't scare you, they are not big enough.
I like it.
Being nice never hurt anybody.
I like it.
Having no school and no homework is really nice.
No doubt.
Really nice. Patience is key. And this one, Charlie Kirk did more for the election than he gets credit for.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk those are all very good, son. Thank you for that. Charlie Kirk, I believe you could be Charlie Kirk if you just stop, if you just did it. You could be
Yeah,
a local Charlie Kirk. I know you can. You know enough and you can learn more rapidly. But Charlie Kirk uh, is changing lives. And, when I watch those places that he goes, I mean, those are hotbeds, man. And more of them are becoming red, those crowds that
they are.
he goes to. You see more and more of these college kids that are wearing the Make America Great hat again. And when somebody on the left gets up and talks, a kid on the left, normally they're very snarky and snooty and think they know it all. It's not Charlie Kirk that has to say, dude, it's the rest of
It's
them
the
that are
crowd.
jumping on them. And Charlie, the thing about Charlie Kirk is that he didn't he's not college
Mm-mm.
educated like Trump. I mean, like Bush. No, not Bush. Like Rush Limbaugh was not college educated. Um,
It's all books and stuff.
yeah, they have learned by their experiences and by what they put their mind to understand on their own. And Charlie Kirk, when you listen to him, man, he goes over to England, to Oxford, and
Mm-hmm.
he has this little setup where he's sitting around in this room, this big room, and a clock is he hit a clock like ours, and these students that are sitting around there have a matter of seconds to run up there and be the one that he debates, and they'll go after him. These are smart kids. They'll go after him, and he just stands there and he knows his stuff
All of it.
from religion to history to education. He has put himself, and this is where I would encourage you and Kennedy and every other smart person, use your free time less on playing video games and more on with AI and everything else, understanding things because Charlie Kirk can shut it down in a heartbeat with facts, and he's not rude, he's
Mm-mm.
not belligerent.
I mean, I
Um,
saw a video the other day. This person was standing up there just cussing at him, saying all the mean things in the book, and he was just sitting there with a smile on his face,
yeah,
waiting for them to leave.
yeah.
And
So
it's.
it's that's not a winning argument.
Great Netflix movie that Rita and I saw within the last couple of weeks. My Oxford Year, about a girl in the United States that gets a scholarship over to Oxford,
Hmm.
and it's just a movie, one night deal. It's
Yeah,
very good.
good, cool. All right, there you have it. Very good job, Sammy. All right, block three. He said. So this is a question that I perpetually have because the more and more I'm exposed to those that see life in the world differently than I do, which would be conservative versus liberalism, those that on the left who are dealing with the same issues I'm dealing with or we're dealing with, are angry. They're palpably angry, and we see it on television, and you can see it on shows like Rachel Maddow and others where they are just full of venom. I mean, I can be nasty. I get it. I don't mind. I'll be willing to admit that. I hate that I do that, but sometimes I get the best of me, and I've gotten better. But these shows are nasty, and these people are nasty. You look at the interviews of people on the left and protests and sort of, and somebody, another young, there's a young lady, there are many of them that go to these things, and they'll do the Charlie Kirk thing. Well, they'll interview these protesters, and they'll say, "What are you protesting about?" Well, abortion. Well, what about abortion? Well, and they spout things that are so far afield it's not even funny. And these young ladies, this particular young lady, is there to say, well, let me just tell you the truth. Well, they don't want to hear the truth, and they go after her personally. And I'm guilty of that sometimes, which got to get better, but I've gotten better. Want to get better. But why is the left so angry? Is it because they're losing?
Yeah, I think that's
But they're always angry.
well. There's always been some of that, but remember this: after the election, they were in shock, they were hurt, and they felt rejected. And when you're in shock, or you're hurt, or you feel rejected, the natural thing that happens is people lash back,
Hmm.
and so that I think is simply what has happened, and um, it is so often boils down to them. Whatever the issue, it doesn't matter the issue. It's all about Trump, and which goes back to the shock and the hurt and rejected from the election.
Yeah.
I heard today coming in that you won't believe this. Melania Trump, our gorgeous, capable, well thought first lady, who has never really done anything wrong or bad to anybody. She's a peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful person from what I know. And she's now going to grace the cover of Vanity Fair. And remember, many of our first ladies have been on the
Yeah.
cover of Vanity Fair. And there's the big uh, theme that says, how are the ladies dressed at Trader Joe's
Yeah.
when they look up at the magazines and they see the first lady? They just say, I'm not relatable to that person, or whatever. Come on.
Yeah. You're
Don't pick on this
you're talking
lady.
about the response to that was, I think I saw a headline that said Vanity Fair employees are prepared to walk out if they go through with that Melania Trump being on their cover. And then you have the rest of the folks out there on the left saying, the same sorts of things. We had a former editor at the Sun that was angry a lot. Matter of
Sure.
fact, she wouldn't participate in things we did, and I just never understood. Sometimes I would say, why are you depriving yourself of the joy that life can bring? Because there's just anger all the time. We have a former council person here who I've been friends with for a long time, doesn't like that I have rants in her view about what Trump's doing and about the left. And so she, instead of turning to Scott, let's sit down and talk about this and getting it out that way, she just says, you make me sick, I'm canceling and blah, 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 blah. That's not going to change my attitude. It's not going to change my belief system. It would make for better people if we just sat down and talked about it. But I get that losing can make you bitter, but being bitter at the person that beat you isn't going to make you better. What's going to make you better is introspection. That gets a
Yeah.
lot of people, a lot of teams, a lot of teams, coaches. I would argue Jerry Jones is not willing to have introspection, and so what happens is that the Cowboys continue down the same path for decades, and it makes him angrier and angrier and more bitter, but he will not change.
And guess what else? You know how an avalanche starts? You got that ball
Yeah.
and it's rolling down the hill and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Next thing you got an avalanche. And that's what's happening to the left. They went from shock, hurt, to rejected, to the more success they see out of Trump, the more he becomes more popular, the more people are shifting their attitudes. Now you go from shock, hurt, rejected to uh-oh,
Yeah.
uh-oh, I'm a lost cause now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Is Nancy Pelosi, who's pushing mid 80s, if somewhere in that range, she's going to die a bitter old woman. And others on the left are just so full of rage, and I just don't understand. Imagine if they would just embrace Trump.
It's tough to be in their position, though.
Yeah, it
It
is
really
tough,
is.
and but I will say that there have been times when. Uh, Lots of times where I've been on the losing side of things, and
Right.
I can get bitter and angry, particularly if the person that beat me or the team that beat me or whatever is shoving it in my face, which Trump tends to do. But have you noticed that Trump, it's uh, Cracker Barrel is a good example. Trump went after Cracker Barrel like the rest
I
did,
heard
and then
that.
they made these changes back to what he believes is better for the country. And he then becomes their biggest cheerleader. It's not
Right.
like he continues to say, "See, I told you, I told you." He becomes their biggest cheerleader. He's done this with other people, and he's done with other organizations. So I
From
don't.
the man who has to have his finger in everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he does. So I say y- y- join in. These people on Pritzker, his state could be incredible. His state could be incredible if he would embrace the idea that Trump has, as opposed to playing a stupid game like Gavin Newsom's playing. All right, there you have it. So it's time for a good old poem. What you got, Jeffrey?
Seeing what number it is, we changed. 33. That's we changed out of that to Minnesota one. Up to Minnesota, page 69. Then I sent you a message saying, let's go back to page 69.
All right, let's hear it.
So this is a poem about, so you got it still? Yeah. Okay. So we all know what happened in Minnesota yesterday, and I was very surprised when I pulled up the newspaper today. There's a big, a decent sized headline and a huge picture, a mournful, sorrowful picture on the cover, and it says story on 2A. Then you go to 2A, it wasn't a particularly big article, and it was Associated Press article. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
And it didn't tell me anything that I hadn't known at 1 o'clock that afternoon. And I thought, boy, mass murder is not what it used to be, I guess,
Yeah,
or I don't know.
it's just
It
lazy
was
journalism.
lazy journalism.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is called Off to Minnesota. It has nothing to do with what happened, but it speaks everything about when you asked me the other day, do I consider myself a Minnesotan? I said, no, I'm from Minnesota.
Yeah.
I lived in Minnesota. It's called Off to Minnesota. November 28th, 2021. I was getting to go up there, and it was a tough little winter up there. And it goes
Oh,
like
yeah.
this: Off to Minnesota, and I hope not to freeze my toes off. Weather map shows a 50% chance of snow. Hope the plane lands kind of slow. Pack my coat, glove, scarf, long johns, and hat. Could I need more than that? Going to see the big snow plows. The way they move the snow always gives me the wows. They sure clean up the street, but they're useless against the sleet. How can folks live like this? But I'm careful not to diss. I have friends and family that live there. Of their feelings, I still do care. A short visit is enough. I guess I'm not that tough. Give me some sunshine and warm air. I like my weather air. Soon I'm heading back to the Lone Star State. I can't wait for that date.
Very good.
Long
Yep.
weekend was all I was good for.
Minnesota, we'll talk more about this next week. Matter of fact, I have a column on Great and Good News on Substack for next Friday. I sent you that earlier
Hmm.
today, but it's about why prayer is so important to America, because now we've got talking heads, we've got the mayor of Minneapolis saying, "Don't bring that prayer and thoughts crap here. That's not going to help us." And so the idea is to say, "Wait a second, let's stop and realize why it's so vital." But uh, what happened in Minnesota is just straight from hell. And I'm not going to label the trans community as anything other than what they are. We are beginning to see violence come out of that group, and this was as evil as it gets. The guy who claimed to be a girl, uh, Robert instead of Robin instead of Robert. Uh, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines, "I love to see children suffer."
But let's make no mistake about it. This had nothing to do with that person being trans. It had to do with that person not thinking well. And I think if we look at the history of all the mass murders that we've had, um, trans people are a very small part
Yeah,
of that.
I don't
So,
think you. My reason for mentioning the trans is because I don't know that you can in today's environment with trans. I don't know how you can separate trans and mental illness. I don't. And so that's my opinion, not a popular one for those on the left, but that's what I believe. So I believe this is you're right, it's a mental illness, mental health issue.
And the other thing, just like we talked about youth in the cities, young males, the majority of all mass murders do come
Yeah.
from young males. Not so much the 18 part, but the early 20s.
Well, it was 2 years ago in Nashville where a mass shooting happened by a trans person, and that was a female
Hmm.
that was transitioning to male. Uh, so and so that you can't use that as it's not a sample size to say this is true of
Right.
the trans community, but in that case, trans is such this is a mental health issue, and knock off the gun stuff, all that, whatever. But uh, I do want to address why prayer is so important. Prayer is not policy, and there's a distinct difference. Anyway, there you have it. So let's it's our favorite time of the show, day in history. I'm on a roll. Sammy's on a roll. I don't know if you've been on a roll, but bet
Yeah,
you have.
I went 8-1. I was
Oh,
kind of disappointed on this first one because I did not look closely enough at that Pepsi logo change map, and I got a date mixed up, and it
okay.
cost me going 9-0. Here we go. Pharmacist Khalib Branham of New Bern, North Carolina, changed the name of the carbonated beverage that he created 5 years earlier from Brad's drink to.
I have no idea.
I walked you right.
Dad's root beer.
I walked you right into the bonus
Uh,
Pepsi Cola.
oh,
I walked you right into it.
all right. So we want to know the year?
Yeah.
1951.
1949.
You guys didn't look at that logos very closely. 1898.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Here we go. Emmett Till, a black teenager
Yeah.
from Chicago, was abducted from his uncle's home in Money, Mississippi by two white men after he had allegedly whistled at a white woman 4 days prior, who was found brutally slain 3 days later.
Yeah. I saw that movie Till. It's a great movie about him.
1929.
Not bad. I would say if I remember the movie 1935.
I was born that year, 1955.
Oh, I was a little early. Okay.
Then U.S. Senator Strom Thurmond, Democrat from South Carolina, began what remains the longest speaking filibuster in Senate history, parentheses, 24 hours
Yeah.
and 18 minutes, seeking to stall the passage of the Civil Rights Act of that year.
Yeah. 65.
68.
I was all with you. The 64. The answer is 57.
60. Oh,
The
I missed
Civil
it.
Rights Act of that year, I guess that must have been the first Civil Rights Act. It must not have
May have
had
been.
much
Yeah.
teeth to it, huh?
Yeah. I don't know.
Here we go.
I'm 0-3.
During the March on Washington, the Reverend Martin Luther King delivered his I Have a Dream speech before an estimated 250,000 people in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C.
All right.
69.
No, he died in 68. So I'm going to say 67.
I was thinking that too with 68. The answer is 63, but you still get it.
Wow. I got it. Yeah.
You're still in range. Police and anti-war demonstrators clashed on the streets of Chicago as the Democratic National Convention nominated Hubert H. Humphrey for president.
1972.
1970.
He was defeated by Richard Nixon in 1968.
Off one term.
They later named what stadium after him?
The Metrodome.
Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, which collapsed
Yep.
from snow, just like my Minnesota poem. Here we go. Last one of the day. Major Nidal Hassan was sentenced to death for the 2009 shooting rampage at Fort Hood that claimed 13 lives and left 30 people injured.
2023.
2020.
2013,
Oh, I got
Fort
it.
Hood.
Yeah, I remember the
Dang.
event. I didn't know when he was.
What'd you do?
3-3.
3.
Ugly. All right. Before we go, I got the true facts that sound like BS,
Let's hear 'em.
supposedly true. True or false? Former NFL player Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, challenged a horse to a race and won.
False. He ain't beating a horse.
I'm going to say if it was the right distance, he would beat him. I'm going to go true.
True. The stunt was part of a reality television show, but Johnson's victory over the horse was very real. I've seen it.
What
How
was the
far
distance?
was it?
It was
60
100
yards?
yards, something like that.
The horse needs a little second. to
Exactly.
go.
The horse lost.
You know,
Anyway,
oddly, we had Ocho Cinco as our 85 yesterday.
yep, or
Or
Tuesday. Yeah.
There you go.
So there you have it, folks. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Hope you learned a few things. Hope we maybe provoked some critical thinking. But thank you for being here. We'll be back on Tuesday. Again, on Substack.com, find Grit and Good News for $5 a month. You get email on Monday and Friday mornings with loads of content that Jeff and I and Sammy have put together. So we invite you to do that. So thank you for being here.
Have a great day and put a smile on somebody's face today.